businesses that are focused on import substitution, how do we ensure that they can access foreign exchange? How do we ensure that businesses that want to export value-added products and services, how do we ensure they access credit at the right price and are able to be supported? Those are the things that will increase our dollar stock. By having a consistent and firm FX policy, foreign direct investors will then bring a lot more of their foreign exchange into Nigeria. So we really just need to increase the supply. Once supply increases, prices will generally, naturally come down.
But of course, the key sectors that are supposed to try to, well, increase this supply like you're talking about right now are the manufacturing sector, for instance, agricultural sector, and then the recent approval, the 60-day approval given by the acting president for the ease of doing business, and those 3 priority areas of focus. If you listen to Mr. Joe Femi Daguru, he actually talked a lot about it. But for you, do you think having those priority areas focused on in the next 60 days will also tie in line with what you're actually saying and have that improve?
Absolutely. I think there has to be greater coordination. What typically happens in our environment is that different agencies of government tend to work in silos, and oftentimes they seem to work in conflict to one another. So that is why I like the fact that the acting president is leading a charge and is drawing all the critical stakeholders in. Remember that at the last NEC meeting last week, he spoke clearly, or that body spoke clearly about the challenges around foreign exchange. 3-4 days later, the CBN has come and has responded. So we actually need greater coordination amongst the various actors in the policy space. Once we see that, then clearly we can move in the right direction.
But at this time, one of the key players should be, or the key front runners of this particular issue should be the Ministry of Trade and Industry and Investment. Indeed. For you, what areas do you think in particular should they be focusing now? Because we're talking about export and we're talking about agriculture. So tying in export and agriculture, how can we make that work?
Thank you. It's a combination of different things. So from the perspective of the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, their mandate is very clear. And this ease of doing business and creating the right environment that the acting president is championing, clearly that's the direction to go. As at the end of last year, out of 190 countries, Nigeria was number 160. So in terms of ease of doing business, we were only better than 31 countries in the entire, amongst the 190 that were surveyed. So clearly, I believe that the minister recognizes this, and he's coming up with specific policies and processes that can help drive that. But it is all a part of a larger story, as long as we get the global story right. So we've been talking about an economic growth and recovery plan. It's supposed to be January. Sometime we expected it early February. February expires next week. We still haven't seen it. You know, there has to be consistency. Government needs to roll out. Look, there is the plan is not sourced from outside of Nigeria. We know what our challenges are in Nigeria. We know what we need to do. So it shouldn't take us this long to put all of that, articulate all of that into a policy document. The World Bank and other multilateral agencies are looking to give us money, but they are saying, look, show me your plan. Where exactly are you going? How do all the different constituent parts tie in together to help you to achieve this plan? They're waiting. The African Development Bank has released one part of the $1 billion they want to give us, but they've held on to the balance to say, show me a plan. Similar, the World Bank. You know, so I think it is important that we quickly, very, very quickly put all of this, connect the dots as quickly as possible, and thereafter move the ball forward.
So we're talking about harmonization of the FX policies, talking about harmonization between the fiscal and the monetary authorities. Indeed. So in the very short to medium term, what's your expectation?
My expectation, short to medium term, I expect hopefully in the next week or so, let the CBN take off from where they left off. So Monday, the 20th of February, they came up with a policy. Shortly thereafter, come up with another one to say, this is the direction. We're collapsing the rates, because what we want to do is to drive supply of foreign exchange into Nigeria and also to encourage greater exports. So what they need to do is collapse the rates, release this economic framework, this economic plan, and thereafter tell the whole world that Nigeria is truly open for business.
And then, of course, we're beginning to see maybe that parallel market might not be there at all anymore. But thank you so much for your perspectives this morning. Bayo Rotimi, CEO and Market Analyst, Quest Advisory Services.
Thank you very much, Harriet.
Business Morning continues after now. Stay with us. Welcome back. So one of the biggest stories we're tracking from the markets is the ongoing Green Bonds Capital Market and Investors Conference happening in downtown Lagos at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Channel's business news editor Bosun Omofaye joins me on the program again. Bosun, it's great to have you join me back on the program. So talk us through what's actually happened since the event kicked off full swing.
Yes, the vice president came in just about 2 minutes ago when we were about going on break, Harriet, and he's the one that will be speaking, I guess, in the next couple of minutes. But right now we're hearing from the permanent secretary who's in charge of Department of Climate Change at the Ministry of Environment, Dr. Peter Yerima, and he's laying out what has been done so far as the green bonds is concerned. He's also talking to the audience here about the pipeline projects that will be addressed as far as raising this bond is concerned from the government side. This will include afforestation, this will include many projects that the Ministry of Power works on housing would also be involved.
Well, Bosun, we'll have to end this conversation because of the interference we're getting from the background of that event. We'll let you get to it and sit among them and listen to everything that's going to be said with regards to encouraging more investors to buy into this particular very laudable project. And we'll talk to you much later, of course, on Business Incorporated. Channel's business news editor Bosun Omofaye there live to us from downtown Lagos at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. You heard him, Nigeria's acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, is now in the building, and of course the event kicks off full swing. And all the players concerned with regards to the green bonds issuance, which is expected to come up very soon, at least before the end of the first quarter, will be talking to capital market operators, both domestic and, of course, international, on this particular issue that has been on for quite a while. The federal government is planning to raise green bonds, to issue bonds to fund some specific projects which are environment friendly in terms of infrastructure. And so Channel's Business News has got this event on track for you, and you could follow us on any of our social media platforms. I'm talking about Twitter, for instance. You can tweet at BizMorning or at Channels Television, and you get most of the updates coming in from that particular event. You can also follow me. I'm at CTV Harriet, or you can engage Bosun, who is at B Bosun. So let's also quickly remind you that at this time, the markets are already in full swing. But coming for the currencies market now, for instance, we've talked a lot about where that segment of the market, the various segments of the market are at the moment. So at the interbank over the counter, we have the Naira to the dollar at 305 Naira 25 kobo. But at the parallel market, it's continued to gain, and we have that at 505 Naira. Remember, before the Central Bank of Nigeria announced its new FX policies, the Naira had actually hit 520 to a dollar, but now it's at 505 Naira, and most operators and traders expect this to continue to appreciate further. At the Bureau de Change segment of the market, according to what we got from its website today, the Naira to the dollar is at 313 Naira 41 kobo, and for the other currencies as well, it's not looking too bad, even though from the street market, we still have the Naira to the dollar, Naira to the British pound and the euro still largely unchanged at 620 and 520 Naira respectively. But that's it on today's edition of Business Morning. Many thanks for staying with us. I'm Harriet Agbenyi. Have a profitable day.